Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, hi, I'm Debbie. The good people at Woomer reached out to me and offered to send me over a set of 72 colored pencils, so we're going to take a look at that set today together. This set comes in a really nice orange case, and it's a tin case so you can keep your pencils safe, and there are 2 layers of colors in there. One thing that I noticed right away that was pretty nice is that it uses normal naming conventions, so you can figure out your colors really quickly. It comes with a little swatch card, which was very nice to see, and the colors in the case are in the same order as the swatch card, which is always nice. I did very much appreciate that there is a black field as well as a white field, so you can see what the coverage is over darker colors, which was something I was very interested in particular. I primarily use colored pencils as a way to finish my watercolor drawings or paintings, and so I prepared a few different pages, and I thought we would test out some different ways that you could use the 2 mediums together, as well as maybe some sketchbook ideas for you guys. All these little drawings are done on a multimedia paper. It's 190 GSM. The pencils come pre-sharpened and they look like this, but if you want to do some finer lines, you will have to sharpen them, which I ended up doing, but the initial line would look something like this, so a little bit blunter, a little bit thicker. They are very soft core, so keep that in mind, and if you're doing a lot of line work, you'll have to do a lot of sharpening. That's just the nature of it being such a soft lead. So there you can see it breaks a little bit because of the softness, but you can really get some fine lines. At first I was worried about that, but you can actually get some fine lines. I'm not one for blending with pencil crayons, so mostly what I do is line art with it. I really like the effect of finishing watercolor with colored pencil because you can push out colors that maybe are in the paint but are not really showing through, and maybe you want to accent it a little bit further. So if you see an area that's a little bit more yellow, you can push the yellow out using the pencil, and I think that they meld really well together. This first little goblin dude, I don't know, little orcish guy, he would be kind of like at the finish level that I usually do, so it's quite further along in the painting. So there's a few layers there, there's more saturation. I usually take the watercolor at least this far before going in with colored pencil. That's my usual method. The color selection is very vibrant, so it leans towards a more saturated color in the set, but there are some really nice darks as well. I really enjoyed the dark green selection as well as the dark gray selection. The only thing that I think might be missing from the set is a light violet. I've been primarily working with ink lately, and I was curious to see how I would enjoy working with ink and colored pencils together, so I did a few little doodles here. For this first little drawing, I just did a bit of a wash of brown, and I'm using the colored pencil to push the color out a little bit further. So this is an option for you, maybe an idea that you can use in your sketchbook. And if you wanted to add a little bit more texture to your washes, this is one way to do it. With this tree, I was just experimenting all kinds of things. The drawing doesn't really make sense, but I was just trying things. And I wanted to see if I would like the colored pencil on top of the inks. It turned out I didn't really, because it kind of muddied the black, but in a sketchbook, doing little studies or doing some idea generation, I could recommend it. I went a little further with the background than I would usually go. I don't like to see too much texture, and so I wouldn't usually go this far. That's just a personal preference thing, but I did enjoy pulling the green out of the background, and that's always some fun to do. I don't know, with the colored pencil and watercolor, just pulling the color through a little further. It's always fun to do. Something to keep in mind if you're using these 2 mediums together is that depending on how much color you put down on the paper and how saturated the paper is already will determine how much colored pencil the paper can take on top and also it will tend to be more superficial, so it'll be resting more on the surface because the paper has been already saturated with the water. So just something to keep in mind. I did a little bit of blending just to like try it out, but that's one of the things that I don't like to do with the colored pencils is too much blending, because I feel like it takes so much time and I'm faster with paint. So I tend to like rather do that with the paint layer. But they blended out great, and I was testing out how fine I could get lines on here, and worked great. So I painted a quickie kind of root of a dark tree, because that was actually something I was most curious about. Something I hadn't really played with was having kind of a dark base and then putting colored pencil on top of that. And so I was just testing different colors on there, and I think that if you want to pull lights out, I would look for colors that have more white mixed into them, because they'll show up better. This last little goblin dude, I just wanted to see if I just put in less detail with the watercolor layer, if I liked the way it looked finishing it off further with the colored pencil. And I did, and I experimented, and I did a few different things, and I like the way it turned out. And this is definitely something that I'll bring into my sketchbook habits. It was fun, and it got a little bit impressionistic maybe even. So I used sort of like a hatching technique, I guess, to pull the color out of the background. And I think it turned out kind of neat. So of course, depending on the level of saturation of the paper, you'll get different results with the colored pencil layer. So it's always fun to experiment and see how much painting you want and how much colored pencil you want, and that's a very personal preference kind of thing. Anyhow, I hope you found this interesting and helpful, and gave you some ideas on how to use colored pencil in your art practice or in your sketchbook. And if you're interested in the set, there will be an affiliate link in the comment section if you would like to purchase it. If you found this video helpful, please leave me a like or a comment in the comment section. And if you have any tips or suggestions on how you use these two mediums together, let us know down there too. Thanks to Woomer for sending along this set, and I hope you guys have an awesome day. I'll see you soon at the next one. Bye!